Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to my channel. This is Lori-Lynn, Spirit Within Us. I do a Journey of the Soul reading, and I do admit that I'm trying to work through how to go about doing these readings because I do work with energy, and energies are the people that I'm reading for. And so on my page, what I typically do is a universal message, and then I will split them down to individual lessons that are necessary for us to work through at this time. So I'm going to do that, and for the universal message, I use the Soulful Woman's Guidebook as well as the Shaman's Oracle, and then I'll choose as I go along and led to as Spirit tells me what I need to, which decks I need to choose from. I'll go from there. And so to begin with, just so you can think about it prior to, I will have 3 stones to choose from. This is the first one. I just bought this and I think it's beautiful. Might be one of my favorites. This is the second, the blue, and the third, which doesn't show you how pink calcite it is, but it's actually an incredibly beautiful stone. And all of these are healing stones to help us with our own personal journey, which I think that so many of us are being led towards at this time. And so I hope this video finds you well and your family well, and that you are coping as much as possible. But in the meantime, what is it that's most necessary for you to learn, to know at this time? I will have the timestamps once I've completed this at the bottom in the description. And so let's get started with this, with the Soulful Women's deck. I'm also going to use the book at the same time. It might take a little bit more time. I typically don't do that, but the reason I am going to do it is that I don't want to miss any messages that may need to come through at this time. I think that that's probably the wisest thing to do because so many people are just in an upheaval. And so let's try to bring this down back to a positive, and what can we do, and what's our role in what is happening and going on in the world at this time. Oh, wow. So the first card that comes out is the Power of Support. And so the card reads, "I'm grateful for all the love and support that I receive. It is the most precious of all gifts." And I personally think that there's a huge message within this, and we're forgetting that there are so many around us at this time that are supporting us, that are offering support. And at this time, maybe you're not, or some of you are not accepting the support. And so it's just a reminder to be grateful for all of those people that are checking up on you, and they're assisting you in helping you to blossom into the best person, and to keeping you healthy, keeping you safe. And also realize that some people may be going through depression or anxiety at this time. This card is saying to remember that others also believe in you through their care and their love, their practical help. I had my roommate today, I'm needing a new tripod. And she went home to her other house, and I just sent a quick message to let her know that, or to remind her to bring back the tripod. And she said, "I've already got it going." So that to me is a support that at least I know she's thinking of me, And that's probably one of the most important things in the world is, if it's not yourself, let's pay it forward as we go forward and remind people that we are thinking of them, that we're constantly thinking of them. We're trying to send messages, to send support. And we can do this through positive thoughts and energy. Our energy is so powerful. And we can offer words of wisdom. And it may seem like that it's, not the wisest words, but what doesn't seem so wise to you may be wise to another, something that they really needed to hear. And so this card's also asking us to be humble in this. And so not doing something with conditions attached or expectations attached, just providing support from a place of love. And this sort of support helps to transform ourselves and allows us to blossom, just knowing that we are loved, that we are cared for. And so recognize today the power of support, and really take the time to give gratitude, to be honored to be part of a greater circle of giving and receiving, a greater circle of love. So let's keep this power of support, this wisdom within ourselves, this acceptance, to be grateful for all that we have, and bringing more forward. The world's in such a need of so many things, and they are practical things. They're material things, such as face masks. And so what is your role? What is your part in that? What can you do? And maybe the support that you can do is merely staying at home and calling a few people. So just look at that and say, what kind of support can I offer? And the other side is, if you're not feeling well, who can I go to that can support me during this time, that can bring me something? We all need to group together, to band together, to give and receive support. Wow. So, right in line, the next card is love-based reality. And it says, I am soul nurtured when I surround myself with friends and family who support a love-based reality. I feel that this is probably just as important as the previous card, because we really seem to be, in some sense, moving backwards and moving away from the love and going into the blame and to, the shame, and to making people feel, badly about this or that. But we really have to surround ourselves as much with people, with friends, whether that be through video chatting, through just telephone calls, through watching a fun show with somebody. They've got all these group musicals that are musicals, like they're not musicals, they're concerts that are online. I've been listening to a ton of them. A couple of them that have really caught my attention have been Catherine McPhee and David Foster. And she's sharing with both of them, but she's sharing with the world her energy, her love, and it is based on love. Perhaps she's trying to move her career forward, but with that kind of love that she shows, I don't really believe that. I think she's trying to do her part in helping people put a smile on their faces, especially if they're feeling horrible or feeling like they're not doing too much. Think outside of that box. Find something that you can do that can bring joy and happiness to somebody around you or outside of yourself. There's so many connections. There's YouTube, there's TikTok, and whatever it is, but let's make it love-based. Let's go back to the love, and let's walk away from the fear and the insecurities that we all know exists right now, because we keep hounding and hounding and hounding it. Let's go back to this love-based reality. So go to the friends that are supporting from a place of love, from a place of goodness and happiness. Devote yourself to the reality that connects you to the beauty. That I keep going out and buying flowers and fresh flowers because that makes me happy. So what is that makes you happy? And it makes my home feel more beautiful. And it strengthens my love for life, because I know I've had these roses now for 2 weeks, and it empowers me. I've planted my flowers early because I live in a colder part of the world, and so we don't typically outdoor plant until after the May long weekend, and I've got them going upstairs, and it's just, to me, to watch the growth, that brings happiness to me, that brings joy to me. And so as we nurture this love-based reality, it sustains me in my life and keeps me buoyant whenever I face the fears or the self-doubt. It strengthens my capacity to be present and to be of greater service or presence to life on this planet. And if we work together all in this love base, from that place of the heart, from that place of knowing, from just self-creation, and then bow down in appreciation to the people who have supported you, that do their best to believe in you, and you turn around in the same respect, do the same for them, and believe in them, in what they choose to do. We all get to make different choices based on who we are and what our natural abilities and gifts are. And so if we can find that time to naturally reflect the light of these energies all around us, and maybe start, just within, yourself, and then expand that out, and that energetic circle can go from all across the world. Our energy has that ability to do so. So the affirmation on this card is, I am so nurtured when I surround myself with friends and family who support a love-based reality. And so that's moving towards being very confident and being very secure within your friends and your family and all those who are really important to you at this time. And so you all stay connected and stay together, and making sure that you're nurturing and helping one another, as we need to do in this time. So the second part of the universal reading comes from the Shaman's Oracle deck. And the Shaman's Oracle deck brings to us, say, spirit guidance, we'll talk about past loved ones, our spirit guides, who are continually surrounding us, but perhaps we've forgotten. And so we need to remember. It just may be a down day for us here in Winnipeg, cold land. It is snowing once again on April 2nd. And so we had almost lost all our snow. And so everybody was feeling really good about that and grateful, and it's snowing again. But the blessing in that is that we know it's April, and it's really going to spring is on its way, so it's going to melt fast. So here we are, and the first card is the Spirit of Destruction. And although the card itself seems like it's a card that's going to bring destruction or bring some sort of chaos, but the truth in the card is that The spirit of destruction, although fearsome, often not welcome, they are a force for good. They have the capacity to annihilate any negative emotions that weigh you down, any emotional obstacles that block your path in life. And so that's what's meant to be happening. I think that's what's going on all around the world at this time because of so much negativity, so much manipulation, so much craziness. And perhaps part of the blessing within this pandemic, and it's horrible, perhaps that's to open us up, to make us more aware, to confront the darkest recesses of our minds and allow our heart to open truthfully so that we're not blinded by that light. If the heart is true, it can be a powerful guide. And so often negative emotions plague us. And so in this time, because so many people are fearful, and I myself have been dealing with an incredible amount of anxiety that has just been very, very difficult to work through. And I do what I can to work through it, and I meditate, and I set my intentions, and I pray, and I just keep looking towards. I go for a walk. I do what is necessary to see that this anxiety that I'm feeling, and I'm going to say it's not real. It's based on guilt or resentment. It can be based on jealousy, or we have to define that for ourselves. All of these things can eat away with us spiritually and corrodes our positive energy. And from that place, it can lock us into negative patterns of thought. And so the spirit of destruction has the power to annihilate this negativity. And so finding that space and knowing that when those thoughts come is to find whatever positivity, whatever thought process that you need to do to ground yourself, to soothe yourself through the storm, through the thoughts, through the patterns, and to release them. So finding and grounding ourselves. And when I teach students about grounding, it's about, there's several ways you can ground. One through meditation, and that's very common, and that's, seeing that white light going all the way through you, and then as it enters the ground, it roots out, and it really keeps us grounded. It keeps us, our feet on the ground. It keeps our third eye and our consciousness chakra aligned with the divine goodness, with God, with the Creator, however you see that. And so the negative thoughts come, and that's that gut feeling that, oh no, something bad's going to happen. And that's fear. And we don't want to be fear-based. All of this is love-based reality, the power of support. So go back to these places and see how you have been supported. See how you can support another. And then base your responses, your reactions, first to yourself, on love. And a love-based reality. Come back to that place of calm. The second card is quite telling because it's very connected to the last card, and it's the spirit of nurture. And so the spirit of nurture offers protection and a safe, homely place where you may find refuge and access new energies at times of crisis. the most important part of this at this time, I'm going to relate to this to us in Canada because of all the guidelines that we've been have been put upon us. They're all safety precautions, and right now our greatest refuge is in our home, and to keep that place, our home, as a greatest refuge. So making sure that you're following all of those guidelines, that the people in your home are the people that live in your home. We have no idea that someone that's coming from outside of this space where they may have been, and that could have been just at a store touching something and contracting the virus. And so keep your home a safe space. And then when you're going out, making sure that you're following all those rules. I do know here in Canada, or in Manitoba anyways, that I would say everybody that I know is following all of the guidelines, is following what the government's saying, because the government, in my opinion, has been looking out for our best interest. They're telling us and they're showing us, they're leading by example. And so we need to keep our home place, our home base, a safe refuge. And this can create new energies within our home. And within this space, we can find the support and encouragement that restores our well-being. And that well-being, either the well-being if you have the virus, ensuring that you're doing everything possible to heal, to allowing the professions that need to be around you to surround you, but to also heal yourself from the inside. Being, it's hard to think positive, and it's hard to think supportive and encouraging at these times, but try to find a few moments that you can find that nurturing of your soul, of your body, of allowing those, that healing light within yourself. And if you're at home and just feeling fearful or, whatever that is, out of sorts, and it's natural. So don't get upset with yourself. It's natural that you're going to feel that. So feel that for a few moments and just allow it, and then allow your mind to go back to that place of just clearing your thoughts, and then finding that love and that light and allowing it all throughout your body, and then surrounding your home with as much love and light, with positive, good energy that is possible. This enables you to move ahead in your journey, to do the work that you need to do. If you're working from home, to do so in the best possible way, in the best manner that you can. We want to be able to nurture our souls to help us face whatever lies ahead. And so the more we nurture ourselves, the more we allow ourselves to be supported, to come from that love based and the supportive space, the more that we do, we can defeat this as much as possible and support one another. Do what you need to do. There's been so many incredible videos that are out there that, the kid's birthday and cars driving by is reminding somebody that they are loved, that they are cared for, that they are important. All of those things. We have to remember that, because one day it's all going to open up and life is going to be different. And hopefully we will have changed to be more supportive, to be less manipulative, to know what's important. Maybe this is the time that we need to understand what is truly important in our, in our lives. And so the next card that comes out in the Universal card is the Hunter of Gifts. And this is the card itself. I hope you can see well. And of course it's a golden lights, which the sun is shining upon the gifts. And it's to remind ourselves and to seek out the most valuable and vital things that you need to enable you to live your life to the fullest. Maybe take a little bit of time and see what's really important to you at this time. What's important for you to get through this? What actions needed that you can, what is something that you've always wanted to do and didn't have the time? Got the time now, even if you are working from home. Find those things that really allow your soul to shine and to live life to its fullest. And so when you call upon your spirit guides and your community, they will help you to access your deepest thoughts. They'll go through your experience so you can discover your true gifts, which can help you to move in the right direction, in the direction that perhaps you've always wanted to go, but might have felt fearful. But we're nurturing all of this, and we're getting rid of all of these inhibitions that have been, stopped by society or stuck by. This is a whole new, I'm going to say, beginning for so many people, because we are becoming so much more aware. Whatever gifts you're looking for, the Hunter of Gifts, Spirit, your guides, this is a very powerful guide that's with you at this time. And it's that golden energy. And so if you just sit within that golden ball of energy, reeling in it and allowing it just to fill your body, your mind, your soul, every ounce of yourself, to take you back to the place where you know, that third eye, that place of knowing. Follow where Spirit wants you to go, where Spirit knows that you want to go. And they will help you from that space to flourish in every way. And there's another side of this card, and this is for those that are perhaps struggling in a sense of not being able to find enough, you're fearful of not having food in the home, or not having, all that you need or necessary in your home at this time. Spirit is saying, give your worries to me and I will help. We've got the power of support. In a love-based reality, we will help one another. And that's where we have to go. So on one side, it's everyday gifts, because that's what it's come down to. But the other side are gifts of living, of strength, of health and vitality. Ask Spirit to give you that strength to heal, to give you that courage to ask to, I'm going to say, heal again, to empower you, to be able to visualize, to imagine, to love and to honor all that is within you, We all have what we need within ourselves to move through this. And so the Hunter of Gifts is attuned to our most urgent requirements. So everybody's requirements at this time can be different. And so because they are attuned to our most urgent requirements, and they can sense how best to replenish us when we are lacking. Everything this hunter offers is a gift of joy, a gift of love, energy, truth, and most importantly right now, for so many, hope. In times of our greatest needs, Spirit, God, the divine, the creator, our guides will bring us what we require. But we have to get quiet and we have to ask. And we have to believe and we have to have trust and faith. So we need to release the fear and believe that all that's happening is what we need to happen when we're coming from a place of love-based reality. From that space, that's the place that heals. That's the place that can change. That's the place that we most need to be at this time, is in the love-based reality. Okay, so the final two cards in the universal message. And I know you can all hear the click-clack of my puppy dog who wants outside. So, excuse me for 1 minute when I let him in. Okay, so this is the Zen Osho Tarot deck. And these cards right now are about, the two cards that I'm going to pull are about what we need to balance. Excuse me. Go, bud. Good job. Nice. He just brought in about a foot of snow into the house. Perfect. Okay, so what are the two balancing energies that are necessary at this time? And the yin and the yang. The first balancing energy is that of the Fool. And the Fool is one of the most important cards in the deck. And it's not being a fool. The Fool is all about taking new steps, leaving the past behind, moment by moment, with each and every step. The Fool learns to leave the past behind. He carries nothing more than his purity, his innocence, and his trust. That's faith. And so he knows that he's being guided, that right now it's time for new beginnings. Through all of this that we have worked through takes us to a place of harmony and peacefulness. And that's where we need to go. The more people that can find this peace and harmony outside of that fear of annihilating that destruction, of nurturing our love, of nurturing one another, of finding those gifts within ourselves, of trial and error. At this moment, the Fool has this full support of the universe to make this jump into the unknown. And there's such an unknown at this time. But we have to know that adventure awaits. This card indicates that if you trust your intuition right now, your feelings of the rightness of things cannot go wrong. When you come from a place of love, when you've searched for your gifts, when you're trial and error, this whole, my doing these videos have been such trial and error. I scour through videos and watch them and try my darndest to figure out how do I fit into there. And this morning when I woke up, I realized I have to be true to myself, true to who I am, how I do my readings with others. And because I work with energy, but at this time I can balance and say, what is our universal energy? And then from that place, what individually do people need to know from there? I learned through so many years of understanding that typically when people feel a certain way about something, a lot of other people feel that same way. We often think that we're alone in feeling that way, but we're not. And that's usually the way talking about it, and you'll say, oh, I was feeling really scared. Well, other people are feeling scared too. Or I'm, really feeling, perhaps that wasn't the right move. Well, we have to learn to say this, to speak, to open up our hearts, to open up our minds, to open up our voices. And so even that can sometimes put us in this state of appearing foolish. But you're not. Even though you might appear foolish to yourself, that's what you're telling yourself. So if you try to analyze with your rational mind, you're not going to go anywhere. You have to just trust and know. And so your guides are with you to help you to move forward. This is balanced by, wow, the card is celebration. And that card of celebration is about each time that we are, each time we make a gain, I'm going to say, each time we make progress, it's to celebrate that progress. It's to celebrate, and a big celebration for each step forward that we have made, for each, for each sense of gain or progress. True celebration arises from a joy that is first experienced deep within and spills over into an overflow of song and dance and laughter. And yes, even tears of gratitude. So in making every new step forward, in making new changes, in coming back to this place of this love-based reality of knowing that we are being supported, that we are on the hunt, search for our gifts within, knowing that we are becoming more and more available and open to the many opportunities that there are to celebrate in life, we can spread this to others. This goes back to the support. And this can be done at any time. And even if things seem down at this moment, perhaps in the afternoon, something's going to transpire. We'll celebrate that. or if you do a meditation that is really awesome and you come out of that, celebrate that, because you might have had an aha moment. Take your shoes off. Celebrate every moment. The thought that it's snowing out there, and we're going to get a lot of snow right now. Go and make a snow angel. Do what you can. A very good friend of ours passed away last year, and this woman was one of the most celebratory people I'd ever met in my life. And that's exactly what she would have done, is that she would have seen the snow, run outside, and made a snow angel. That's just who she was. And just such a beautiful being. Okay, so now comes the cards of individual. Intentions or lessons today. And so I'll be picking 2 cards for each pile. 2, 3. And the second card is the Mystic Tarot. Which brings more insight into where you exactly are in this moment. 2 and 3. And I know I've said this in all of my readings when I do them, but I truly, honestly believe, and I've been led this way my entire life, but I truly believe that whoever needs to hear the messages will hear. So I have no doubt that people will choose the pile that is necessary for them. So again, the first is the brown heart. I can find a heart in anything. The second is the blue stone, and the third is the pink. And I know on camera it looks like it's white, but it's a very light pink. And so we're going to go with the first one. Wow. Okay. So you may be in a position, as the first card is the King of Pentacles, right here. You may be in a position that can help assist others in a way that others may not be able to assist. And that may be monetarily. Money's not bad. Says that money is the root of all evil. But the truth is, it's how we manipulate things with money. That's the root to the ego. It's the ego itself that is the root. It's not the money. It's how we use it. So you have this opportunity at this time to find a way in which to utilize to help out those in need in a manner that is going to spread joy, love, happiness, whatever is necessary. You'll find that way because you have that available to you. And so use that to support, to give that, with the cards that are previous to that, saying the card of the Fool, and perhaps you've been saving. Well, now's the time to not save. What are you saving for? A rainy day. And this year, this month so far is a rainy day. So utilize that. Wow. Okay. And so this card says, when I'm tuned in to the energy of abundance, I become abundant. So tune into that and tune into what the reality of abundance is to you. What does abundance mean to you? And then spread that. If it's not money, perhaps it's abundance of joy or happiness, or maybe you're a comedian and you can find laughter and you can spread that, whatever that is. But tune in to that energy of abundance. So what is abundance truthfully to you? And it's not just money. It can be so many different things. You may have an abundance of books. You may have an abundance of flour. Whatever that is, to share with others. So tune into this energy of abundance. Now, these are my little cards that I made up just to ask yourself a question to think about. Okay? Your question to think about, to begin with, is just ask yourself, what is your happiest memory? And maybe that'll start a wave of going back to a place that you can remember that you were joyful and happy, and you were supported, and you know where this love-based reality is. But what's your happiest memory? And we all can actually learn from that. We can grow from that and move forward in a way that brings more happiness and joy to this world that needs it at this point. Okay, so the second card, which is the blue stone, wow, is the Hierophant. And the Hierophant is so connected to the divine. This is really sharing your passion of teaching, of realizing, of sharing your God-given talents and gifts with the world. Perhaps speaking that, first acknowledging it, and then sharing that with others. This is through media, through writing, through any way of getting out there and projecting what your message is to others, knowing that it's divinely guided. Do it. Just do it. Do it from your heart, connected to your consciousness chakra, to your soul starseed, up to the hands of God, the creator, the divine energy, and share that, whatever your message is. I actually have a friend, and her son is doing this right now, and this is what this card reminds me of, is of him doing it. And he started off, and he is sharing his message on through video, and it's such an amazing message. And so find a way to do that, to share that message with those who need it most at this time. Wow. Okay. So true manifesting is about receiving what is the highest good for all. And so perhaps you have known what this is. Perhaps you do know what your gift is. Perhaps you do know that you need to reach, that you need to be in touch with, that you need to reach more people. And when doing so, always asking for the highest good of all. You can state for the highest good of self. That's important. And for the highest good of family. But this projection goes further than that, and it's for the highest good of all. So your voice, your gift needs to be shared with others. Maybe that's through music. Maybe it's, again, when I said I've been watching some of these shows, David Foster and Kat, and one of my personal favorites is Jim Cuddy of Blue Rodeo. I love listening to him. Barbara Streisand sings with everybody in all her duets. That to me is just such a gift. I love listening to music, and I love the power of music, just feeling that, the joyfulness within that music. And so whatever this gift is that you have, to begin to share that with others. Share what you have, your gifts, with others. And that's because you're asking for the highest good. And it's not the good of manipulation or making money or doing this or doing that, but for the highest good of all, for the highest good of consciousness of this world. One more and question to start. Your day will be, wow, this might be actually a good idea to start with. Who is your greatest mentor, dead or alive, that you are most grateful for? And so if you think about who your greatest mentor is, that you are most grateful for, why was this person a mentor to you? Maybe that's why the questions appeared. One of my greatest mentors was my grandmother. And mostly because my grandparents were of the kindest people in the entire world. But my grandmother prayed. She had such faith, such unwavering faith, that I was just in awe of that faith. And so as a child, I loved to go to church. I went to a Catholic school. But what I loved about the church was honoring God, the Creator. That for me was super important. And it wasn't something that at some point I realized I didn't need to do this in a public space. I needed to do this in a private space on my own, in my own way. And that was my choice. It's not that I haven't gone back to church or, into that sort of community, but that was my choice. And that I love to meditate and I love to connect in that source. So for you, who is your greatest mentor, dead or alive, that you are most grateful for? And understand that connection. And this is just going to lead to understanding the truth about manifesting. Okay, so the third pile, wow, we are the world. So the first card is of the world. And this seems to be a really powerful reading in all senses. And it's of giving, it's of manifesting, and it's of seeing the world as a whole and understanding that we are all connected, and that right now we are in this brand new place where we can make the decision to move forward in a different light, in a different space, from a place of love, from a place of acceptance, from a place of that's so different from what we were so used to. It's a time of change, and this change needs to happen. And so we've got the two figures in the middle. For me, how I see them are the Hierophant and the High Priestess. And so it's having that wisdom. I was going to say knowledge, but it's not knowledge. Knowledge is learned. Wisdom is experienced. Wisdom is brought to us through meditation, through prayer, through gifts, through experiencing. And so from what we're experiencing, for this group of people is to see how we are all connected, and understanding that as we are all connected, we all have a role to play. And so what one person does is going to balance what another person does, what another person does, and what another person does. It all has to connect. There has to be the money, there has to be the action, there has to be the decisions, and there has to be the love. And so all of these things need to come back into balance in this world that seems to be so off balance. We need to come back to that space where it's all in harmony. We need to start looking at things in more of harmony than where we left off prior to this pandemic that's going on. And so wow. And so the card of intention is I slow down and listen to the guidance that's available to me. So that's what I've been saying here, is that the guidance will come to you through intention, through prayer, through meditation, through just becoming really quiet and listening. You're surrounded by angels, you're surrounded by archangels, you're surrounded by loved ones that are trying to push us through to a new beginning. A new beginning. The Fool, to new beginnings, to new times. Are we going to change the entire world? Perhaps not, but let's start changing one person at a time. Change yourself, and from that place, reflect that energy out to change others, to reach as many people as you possibly can, so that we can all, hand in hand as a world, we all have our gifts and can contribute in the way that is necessary, rather than making up, I'm just say, false claims or things that aren't necessary for us. What are our needs? Our needs are, most importantly, love. So take some time today to really slow down and listen to the guidance that comes through you, that comes to you, that's within you, that's saying it's time to change. Okay, and so the card that represents asking a question from you is, well, what are you most grateful for? Okay, and so doing a gratitude list, sitting back and really realizing, what do I have, as opposed to what do I need, what do I want, what does my soul want, and what does my soul need. And so many things that we can't go out and just purchase. We can't just go out and buy these things. We really don't need to. We really don't need a lot of the things that we have canvassed around our homes, or we're not allowing ourselves to shine. And we've come to become a society that recognizes gratefulness by the amount of money they have, or the car they drive, or the house they live in, or the diamonds that they wear. We're impressed by those things. I personally am not that impressed by those things, although I am impressed by some things. But I'm most impressed by the people that show love, that support that love-based reality. One of my closest friends, her greatest gift, and she is a woman that has money, but her greatest gift is that she's hilarious. She laughs at everything. She laughs at herself. She laughs at others. She's just fun. You want to be a part of that party. And so I'm personally grateful to her. I'm very grateful to my roommate for putting up with me during these times that I've been up and down and gone through so much over the last, starters, the last several years, but the last couple months. I'd been sick for 3 months, back to work for 3 months, and then we come to this pandemic. Perhaps if I was living with somebody else, who knows what my fate would have been. Just kidding. But I am very grateful that we are all connected and we all have our own gifts, and then we can all show those gifts to others. So if you have something to give to others, share with others, do so. And again, the important message in this for this group is to slow down and listen to the guidance that's available to you. Spirit will never, ever guide you in the wrong direction if you ask without condition and without expectation, and you just allow. And so allow for truth to come to you and to know what your role is, to know what your part is. Okay, so that's the reading. Thank you all for being with me. Share this if you would like, if you're so led to. I will probably be back again tomorrow with another message, and I wish you all much health, blessings, and love along your journey. And be smart, stay safe, practice social distancing, listen, and always, always do from the heart, okay? Thank you. God bless.